Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our English Learning Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Sarah. Today, we're going to have a natural conversation about teaching and education.
That's right. We'll be talking about our experiences as teachers, classroom challenges, and student success stories.
This conversation is perfect for intermediate learners who want to improve their listening skills and learn vocabulary related to education.
So, grab a cup of coffee, relax, and let's begin our conversation. Good morning, David. How are you doing today?
Morning, Sarah. I'm doing well, thanks. A bit tired, though. I stayed up late last night preparing lesson plans for next week.
I know that feeling. Lesson planning can take so much time, especially when you want to make the classes engaging and interactive.
Exactly. I'm trying to create more activities that get students actively participating rather than just listening to lectures.
That's a great approach. Students learn so much better when they're involved in the learning process. What subject are you teaching this semester?
I'm teaching English literature and creative writing. How about you?
I'm focusing on English conversation and grammar. I also have a business English class for adult learners.
Business English must be interesting. Do your students have specific goals?
Yes, most of them need English for their careers. Some work in international companies, others are preparing for job interviews abroad.
That's practical and motivating for them. When students see the real-world application, they tend to be more committed.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, how's your creative writing class going? Are the students enjoying it?
They are. We just finished a unit on short story writing. Some of the stories my students wrote were surprisingly good.
That's wonderful. It must be rewarding to see their creativity flourish.
It really is. There's nothing quite like seeing a student discover their potential and gain confidence in their abilities.
You know, David, I've been thinking about incorporating more technology into my lessons. What's your take on using digital tools in the classroom?
I think it's essential in today's world. Students are digital natives, so using technology can make learning more relatable for them.
True, but I sometimes worry about relying too much on screens. There's value in traditional teaching methods too.
I completely agree. It's all about finding the right balance. Technology should enhance learning, not replace human interaction and critical thinking.
Well said. What kind of digital tools do you use in your classes?
I use several things. For example, I have students submit their writing assignments through an online platform where I can provide detailed feedback.
That sounds efficient. Do they respond well to digital feedback?
Most of them do. The platform allows me to highlight specific areas, add comments, and even record audio explanations.
Audio explanations are a nice touch. It's more personal than just written comments.
Exactly. I also use video clips to introduce topics or provide examples. For instance, when teaching about dialogue in stories, I show short film scenes.
That's creative. Visual examples can really help students understand abstract concepts.
What about you? Have you tried any new teaching techniques recently?
Yes, I've been experimenting with the flipped classroom model.
Interesting. How does that work for your classes?
Students watch video lessons or read materials at home. Then we use class time for practice, discussion, and problem solving.
That must maximize the value of face-to-face time.
It does. Instead of spending class time lecturing, I can focus on helping students apply what they've learned.
Do students complete the homework materials before class?
Most of them do. I make the videos short and engaging, usually around 10 to 15 minutes. I also include quizzes to check their understanding.
Accountability is important. If students know there's a quiz, they're more likely to watch the videos.
Exactly. And for those who don't complete the homework, I have backup materials they can review quickly at the beginning of class.
That's good planning. You're ensuring no one falls behind.
So, David, can I ask you something? How do you handle students who seem unmotivated or disengaged?
That's one of the biggest challenges, isn't it? I try to understand the root cause first.
What do you mean?
Sometimes students are disengaged because they don't see the relevance of what we're teaching. Other times they might be dealing with personal issues.
So you try to connect with them personally?
Yes, I do. I'll have a private conversation with them, ask if everything's okay, and try to understand their perspective.
That's compassionate. Building relationships with students really matters.
It does. Once students know you care about them as individuals, they're more likely to engage with the material.
I've noticed that too. But what about when you've tried everything and a student still won't participate?
That's tough. In those cases, I try to find at least one thing that interests them and incorporate it into their learning.
Can you give me an example?
Sure. I had a student last year who loved video games, but showed no interest in literature.
How did you bridge that gap?
I introduced him to interactive fiction and narrative-driven games that have strong storytelling elements.
Clever! You met him where he was.
Right. Then I gradually connected those game narratives to traditional literature, showing him the similarities in character development and plot structure.
Did it work?
It took time, but yes, he started seeing literature as another form of storytelling, not just boring old books.
That's a success story. It shows the importance of being flexible and creative as teachers.
Absolutely. Every student is different, so we need to adopt our approaches.
Speaking of challenges, what about managing different proficiency levels in one classroom?
Oh, that's a common issue, especially in language teaching. How do you handle it?
I use differentiated instruction. I prepare activities at various difficulty levels, so each student can work at their own pace.
That sounds like a lot of preparation work.
It is, but it's worth it. I group students strategically too. Sometimes I put mixed levels together so stronger students can help weaker ones.
Peer teaching can be very effective. Students often explain things in ways their classmates understand better than we do.
True, and it reinforces the stronger students' knowledge when they teach others.
It's a win-win situation. Do you ever feel overwhelmed by all the preparation required?
Sometimes, yes. Teaching is more demanding than people realize. It's not just the hours in the classroom.
Right. There's planning, grading, professional development, parent communication, administrative tasks.
Don't forget emotional labor. We're not just teaching content, we're supporting students' emotional and social development too.
That's very true. Teachers wear many hats. We're educators, counselors, mentors, and sometimes even parent figures.
How do you maintain work-life balance?
Honestly, it's a constant struggle. I try to set boundaries and not bring work home every single night.
That's wise. Burnout is real in our profession.
It is. I've learned that taking care of myself makes me a better teacher. If I'm exhausted and stressed, I can't give my students my best.
Self-care isn't selfish, it's necessary.
Let's talk about something more uplifting. Do you have any recent student success stories?
I do. I have a student named Maria who joined my class 6 months ago with very basic English skills.
And how is she doing now?
She's made incredible progress. Last week, she gave a presentation entirely in English about her home country.
That's fantastic. She must have worked very hard.
She did. Maria stayed after class regularly to practice speaking and asked for extra homework assignments.
Students like Maria make teaching worthwhile. Their dedication is inspiring.
Absolutely. I remember when she was too shy to even say hello in English. Now she's confidently expressing complex ideas.
Those transformations are what I love about teaching. Watching students grow and develop confidence is incredibly rewarding.
Do you have a success story to share?
I do. Remember I mentioned my creative writing class?
Yes, you said some students wrote impressive stories.
Well, one student, James, submitted his short story to a young writers competition.
Really? That's ambitious.
And he won. Second place. The prize included publication in a literary magazine.
David, that's amazing. You must be so proud.
I am, but more importantly, James is proud of himself. His confidence has soared.
That success will motivate him for years to come.
Exactly. He now believes in his abilities as a writer. That's more valuable than any grade I could give him.
Student success stories remind us why we chose this profession.
They really do. Teaching isn't about the salary or the holidays. It's about making a difference in students' lives.
I couldn't agree more. Even small victories matter.
What do you mean?
Like when a struggling student finally understands a grammar concept they've been working on for weeks.
Yes, that moment when everything clicks and you see the light bulb go on in their head.
Those micro moments of success accumulate over time and create meaningful change.
Sarah, I wanted to ask your advice about something. How do you maintain discipline while keeping the classroom atmosphere positive?
That's a delicate balance. I believe in establishing clear expectations from day one.
You mean classroom rules?
Rules, yes, but more than that. I establish a classroom culture based on mutual respect and responsibility.
Can you elaborate?
Sure. On the first day, I involve students in creating our classroom guidelines. When they participate in making the rules, they're more likely to follow them.
That's a smart approach. It gives them ownership.
Exactly. We discuss what kind of learning environment we want and what behaviors support that.
So it's collaborative rather than top-down.
Right. I also make sure the guidelines are positive. Instead of saying, don't interrupt, we say, listen respectfully when others are speaking.
Focusing on what to do rather than what not to do.
Precisely. It creates a more positive atmosphere.
What about when students break the rules? How do you handle that?
I address issues immediately, but privately when possible. Publicly calling out students can be embarrassing and counterproductive.
I tried to do the same. Preserving dignity is important.
Absolutely. I also use natural consequences rather than arbitrary punishments.
What's the difference?
For example, if a student doesn't complete homework, the natural consequence is they struggle with the next lesson that builds on that homework.
So you let them experience the real results of their choice.
Yes, while offering support to get back on track. It's about teaching responsibility, not punishment.
That makes sense. Punishment often breeds resentment, while natural consequences teach valuable lessons.
Exactly. I also find that building positive relationships prevents many discipline problems before they start.
How so?
When students feel respected and valued, they're less likely to act out. Most behavior issues stem from underlying needs not being met.
Like the need for attention or belonging?
Right. If I can meet those needs through positive means, negative behaviors decrease.
You're describing proactive rather than reactive classroom management.
That's a good way to put it. Prevention is better than correction.
Sarah, I'm curious about your lesson planning process. How do you structure your lessons?
I typically follow a framework that includes warm-up, presentation, practice, production, and review.
Can you walk me through what each stage involves?
Of course, the warm-up activates students' prior knowledge and gets them thinking about the topic.
So you're preparing their brains for learning.
Exactly. It might be a quick discussion, a game, or reviewing previous material.
What comes next?
Presentation is when I introduce new content. This could be a grammar rule, vocabulary, or a reading passage.
How long do you spend on presentation?
It depends on the complexity, but I try to keep it concise. Maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I don't want students passively listening for too long.
Then you move to practice.
Yes, practice is when students start using the new material in controlled activities. I guide them and provide support.
Like exercises or drills?
Right. These activities have clear answers so students can check their understanding.
And production is freer practice.
Exactly. Students use the new language in more creative, open-ended ways. They might have conversations, write paragraphs, or do role plays.
So they're applying what they learned in realistic contexts.
Yes, production activities simulate real-world language use.
And the review stage?
Review wraps up the lesson. We summarize key points, address any questions, and preview the next lesson.
That structure sounds logical and comprehensive.
It works well for language teaching. Do you follow a similar structure for literature classes?
Somewhat, but I adapt it. Literature requires more discussion and interpretation.
How do you typically structure a literature lesson?
I might start with context, providing background about the author or historical period.
Setting the stage for understanding.
Right. Then we read and analyze the text together. I ask questions that promote critical thinking.
What kinds of questions?
Instead of asking, what happened, I ask, why did the character make that choice? Or, what does this symbol represent?
You're pushing them beyond surface-level comprehension.
Exactly. Literature is about interpretation, not just understanding plot.
Do you use any specific teaching strategies?
I love using Socratic seminars where students lead the discussion.
That sounds engaging. How does it work?
Students sit in a circle and discuss the text with minimal teacher intervention. I prepare thought-provoking questions, but they drive the conversation.
So you're facilitating rather than lecturing.
Precisely. Students learn to support their opinions with textual evidence and respectfully challenge each other's ideas.
That develops critical thinking and communication skills simultaneously.
Yes, and students often gain insights I hadn't even considered. They learn from each other.
David, how do you approach assessment? It's such an important but challenging aspect of teaching.
I use a variety of assessment methods. I don't believe a single test can accurately measure a student's understanding.
I agree. What types of assessment do you use?
Formal assessments like essays and tests, of course, but I also use informal assessments like class discussions, quick writes, and observations.
Formative assessment is so valuable for guiding instruction.
Absolutely. It tells me what students understand and what needs more attention before the summative assessment.
How do you provide feedback on written work?
I try to be specific and constructive. Instead of just marking errors, I explain why something is incorrect and how to improve it.
Do you use rubrics?
Always. Rubrics make expectations clear and grading more objective.
I use rubrics too. Students appreciate knowing exactly what's required for different grade levels.
Right, it removes ambiguity.
Do you let students revise their work?
When possible, yes. Learning is a process, and sometimes students need a second chance to demonstrate understanding.
I feel the same way. Real learning sometimes requires multiple attempts.
Plus, revision teaches valuable skills. Students learn to critically evaluate their own work and improve it.
What about giving feedback on speaking skills? That's trickier than written work.
It is. I usually take notes during speaking activities and provide feedback afterward.
Do you correct students immediately when they make mistakes?
It depends on the activity. During fluency activities, I let them speak without interruption and note errors for later.
So you prioritize communication over accuracy in those moments?
Yes, constantly interrupting can damage confidence in fluency. During accuracy-focused activities, I correct more immediately.
That's a balanced approach. Context determines the appropriate response.
Exactly. How do you handle grading? Do you find it time-consuming?
Very time-consuming. Essay grading especially takes hours.
I know. Sometimes I feel like I spend more time grading than teaching.
I've tried to become more efficient. I focus my feedback on the most important issues rather than marking every single error.
That's smart. Overwhelming students with too much feedback can be counterproductive.
Right. I identify patterns and errors and address those in class, so I'm not writing the same comment on every paper.
That benefits all students, not just individuals.
Exactly.
Do you use peer assessment?
Sometimes it can be effective if students understand the criteria.
I found peer assessment helps students think critically about quality work. Evaluating others' work improves their own.
And it reduces our grading burden a bit.
That's a nice bonus, though I still review everything to ensure fairness.
David, do you do much professional development?
I'd try to. Teaching requires continuous learning. Methods and best practices evolve constantly.
What kinds of professional development do you pursue?
I attend workshops and conferences when possible. I also read professional journals and educational blogs.
Do you find conferences valuable?
Very much so. It's energizing to connect with other educators and learn about innovative practices.
I agree. Sometimes teaching can feel isolating, so connecting with colleagues is refreshing.
Plus, you realize the challenges you face aren't unique. Other teachers struggle with similar issues.
That's comforting. Have you learned any game-changing techniques from conferences?
A few years ago, I learned about station rotation, where students move through different activity stations.
How did you implement that?
I set up 4 stations in my classroom, one for independent work, one for collaborative work, one for digital learning, and one for small group instruction with me.
That sounds dynamic. How long do students spend at each station?
About 15 minutes per station. They rotate through all 4 during a class period.
Does it work well?
It does. Students stay engaged because of the variety, and I get quality small group time with each student.
I might try that. What other professional development has impacted your teaching?
I took an online course about culturally responsive teaching.
That's increasingly important as our classrooms become more diverse.
Absolutely. The course helped me recognize my own cultural assumptions and biases.
That's valuable self-awareness.
It also gave me strategies for incorporating diverse perspectives into my curriculum and creating a more inclusive classroom.
Can you share an example?
Sure. When teaching literature, I now intentionally include authors from various cultural backgrounds, not just the traditional Western canon.
Representation matters. Students need to see themselves and others in what they study.
Exactly. It makes learning more relevant and helps all students develop global perspectives.
Do you participate in any professional learning communities?
Yes, I'm part of an online teaching group where educators share resources and support each other.
Those communities can be wonderful for ideas and encouragement.
They really are. Someone always has a solution to whatever challenge I'm facing.
Collaborative learning isn't just for students.
Exactly. What about you? What professional development interests you?
I'm currently interested in learning more about neuroscience and how the brain learns languages.
That's fascinating. Understanding brain science can inform teaching practices.
Right. I want to align my methods with how the brain actually acquires and retains language.
That's the scientific approach to teaching. I love it.
David, earlier you mentioned work-life balance being challenging. How do you manage stress?
I've had to be intentional about it. Teaching can consume all your time and energy if you let it.
What strategies do you use?
I set specific work hours. After 7 p.m., I don't do schoolwork except in emergencies.
That must require discipline.
It does, but it's necessary. I also leave work at work. I don't constantly check emails from home.
Good boundaries. What else helps you decompress?
Exercise is huge for me. I run 3 times a week. It clears my mind and reduces stress.
Physical activity is great for mental health.
Absolutely. What about you? How do you take care of yourself?
I practice yoga and meditation. Even 10 minutes of meditation helps me feel centered.
I should try that. Do you meditate daily?
Most days. I also make sure to maintain friendships outside of teaching.
That's important. It's easy to only have teacher friends and only talk about work.
Right. While I value my teaching colleagues, having friends in different fields gives me perspective.
Do you have hobbies unrelated to teaching?
I paint and garden. Both are creative outlets that have nothing to do with education.
Those sound relaxing. I play guitar, which helps me unwind.
We need those non-teaching identities. We're more than just teachers.
Absolutely. Burnout happens when teaching becomes your entire identity.
Have you ever experienced burnout?
A few years ago, yes. I was working constantly, neglecting my health and relationships.
What changed?
I recognized the signs and made changes. I reduced my extracurricular commitments and prioritized self-care.
That must have been difficult. Teachers often feel guilty saying no.
I did feel guilty initially, but I realized I couldn't help students if I was depleted.
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Exactly. Now I view self-care as professional responsibility, not selfishness.
That's a healthy perspective. Do you take all your vacation days?
I do now. Previously, I'd work through holidays, but that was unsustainable.
Vacations are essential for recharging.
They are. Even short breaks help. Do you have any end-of-day rituals that help you transition from work to home?
I do. I have a 15-minute drive home, and I use that time to mentally close the school chapter of my day.
A decompression buffer?
Exactly. I reflect on what went well, acknowledge what didn't, and then consciously shift my focus to my personal life.
That's healthy compartmentalization.
It helps me be present with my family instead of mentally replaying my workday all evening. Sarah, we've been teaching for a while now. Has your teaching philosophy changed over the years?
Definitely. I'm much less rigid than when I started. I've learned that flexibility and adaptability are crucial.
What made you realize that?
Early in my career, I thought good teaching meant following my lesson plan perfectly. If things went differently than planned, I considered it a failure.
And now?
Now I understand that the best learning often happens in unplanned moments. When students ask unexpected questions or take discussions in interesting directions, that's valuable.
The teachable moments.
Right. I've learned to recognize and embrace those opportunities rather than rigidly sticking to my agenda.
That's wisdom gained through experience. I've evolved similarly.
How has your philosophy changed?
Initially, I thought my job was to transfer knowledge from my brain to students' brains.
The traditional banking model of education.
Exactly. Now I see myself as a facilitator who creates conditions for students to construct their own understanding.
Student-centered rather than teacher-centered.
Right. I used to talk too much. Now I ask more questions and let students do most of the talking and thinking.
That shift makes learning more active and engaging.
It does. I also care less about covering everything and more about students understanding deeply.
Quality over quantity.
Precisely. It's better for students to truly understand core concepts than superficially cover every topic.
What do you think makes a great teacher?
That's a big question. I think great teachers genuinely care about their students and continually strive to improve their practice.
The caring part is essential. Students know when you genuinely care about their success.
They do. Technical skills and knowledge matter, but relationships are foundational.
I agree. What else?
Great teachers are lifelong learners. They model curiosity and growth mindset.
They practice what they preach.
Right. If we want students to embrace challenges and learn from failures, we must do the same.
Great teachers also adapt to individual student needs rather than expecting all students to fit one mold.
Differentiation is key. Cookie-cutter approaches don't work when students are so diverse.
What advice would you give new teachers?
Be patient with yourself. Teaching is a complex skill that takes years to develop.
New teachers often expect perfection immediately.
They do. I tell them that every teacher, even experienced ones, has lessons that don't go well.
Failure is part of the learning process for teachers too.
Exactly. I'd also advise new teachers to seek mentors and build a support network.
Teaching shouldn't be done in isolation.
No, it shouldn't. Learning from experienced colleagues accelerates growth.
What about you? What advice would you give?
I'd say establish routines and procedures early. Consistency helps classroom management immensely.
Structure provides security for students.
Right. I'd also encourage new teachers to focus on building relationships before worrying about curriculum.
Students don't care what you know until they know you care.
That's well said. What do you love most about teaching?
The students, without question. Watching them grow, learn, and discover their potential is incredibly rewarding.
Each student is a unique story of growth and development.
Exactly. I also love that teaching keeps me learning. I research topics, explore new methods, and stay intellectually engaged.
Teaching is an intellectually stimulating profession.
It is. What do you love most?
The creative aspect, designing lessons that engage students and finding innovative ways to explain concepts is satisfying.
Teaching is both art and science.
Well put. I also love those breakthrough moments when a struggling student suddenly understands something they've been working hard on.
Those moments make all the challenges worthwhile.
They really do. What keeps you motivated during difficult times?
Remembering my purpose, I'm helping shape future generations and making education accessible.
That's a powerful purpose.
It is. Even on tough days, I know I'm doing meaningful work.
Teaching matters. The impact we have extends far beyond test scores.
Absolutely. We influence how students see themselves, approach challenges, and interact with the world.
That's both a privilege and a responsibility. Conclusion. This has been such a great conversation. We've covered so much.
We have, from teaching methods to classroom management to self-care.
I hope our listeners found value in hearing about real teaching experiences and challenges.
And remember, fellow teachers listening, you're doing important work, even when it feels overwhelming.
Be kind to yourselves. Stay curious and keep growing.
To our English learners, we hope this conversation helped you practice listening skills and learn education-related vocabulary.
Keep practicing, stay motivated, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we all learn.
Thanks for joining us today, everyone.
Until next time, happy learning.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.